Octopussy, racing across the screen with thrills and excitement. Roger Moore in his newest James Bond adventure, hitting an all-time high in Octopussy.
YouTube world and all subsequent social media lands, welcome to an all-new review. So in this review is another James Bond-a-thon review on my quest to No Time to Die that comes out very shortly. And this is going to be an amazing review on that next film in my James Bond-a-thon, so we're going to get right into that. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so don't miss out on this video or any other videos I put up. And as always, people, if you enjoy my content, definitely check out my other social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, where I post pretty much on a daily basis. So, check those out. And as always, people, let's get right into this. So, welcome one and all to an all-new video. So, like I was saying before, we're going to be doing a review of my next James Bond-a-thon review film series, and is a amazing, awesome James Bond film that wasn't as good as the previous film, but definitely was enjoyable enough to watch. And that, of course, happens to be the film known as Octopussy. Oh yeah, Octopussy. Yeah. So this is the 13th film in the James Bond series, and is the 6th outing for Mr. Roger Moore as the great James Bond, and is returning director also of this film from the previous film as well, which is really awesome. So we're going to get into that in just a short minute. But Octopussy is one of those films that the reviews on it are somewhat favorable, but at the same time it still lacks a lot of, you know, guts and glory, and it's not as good as the previous films that they put out. And Octopussy is one of those films that just seems like it kind of just keeps running and running. It seems a little too long for what they were trying to bring out. Definitely I found that to be a common comment on reviews and so forth, that the film was too long, and I do agree with that. I do think they could have cut out a little bit to make it run a little bit more smoother. Now, this happens to be, like I said, but returning director to this film is none other than Mr. John Glenn. Oh yeah, John Glenn, woo! So John Glenn, like I said, directed the previous film, For Your Eyes Only. This is his second time as director in this awesome James Bond series, and once again, he brought a great, amazing realness to this film and gave us a really fun film. Now, like I said, this isn't the greatest James Bond film, but at the same time, I still think John did a great job of directing it, and did a good job of just giving us a, another addition in the James Bond series that was, enjoyable, entertaining, but not the greatest. Now, another film that John has directed that I haven't had the pleasure of seeing, but looks like a very interesting film from the trailer and from just what I've read on reviews and so forth, is a film that came out in 1992 called Christopher Columbus, The Discovery. Yeah, Christopher Columbus, The Discovery. This is basically supposed to be like a biographical film about Christopher Columbus, basically kind of what he went through and then what drove him to discover the rest of the world. And from what I saw in the trailer and the reviews and stuff, it looks like it's a really action-packed, kind of interesting drama, action-adventure film that John did a good job of giving us some really great story and some really interesting information into Christopher Columbus's life. Now, I've heard a lot of different stories about Christopher Columbus. I've heard really bad stories about him. I've heard good stories about him. I heard that he was an evil person and stuff like that. But at the same time, I feel that John did a great job of portraying that in the film, giving us kind of an accurate portrayal of who he was. And just from what I saw in the trailer and from what I read, that is very accurate too as well on his presence, on who he was. And that just makes the movie very watchable and interested in watching. So definitely we'll watch that down the road, but definitely an interesting film and also a great directing effort by John Glenn. But like I was saying, just previously about his directing with Octopussy, like I said, I thought he did a good job. I thought there was a lot of great action sequences that he brought to life. I thought there was a lot of great comedy to this one, and just really enjoyable a film. There was definitely great moments. There was definitely moments that just stretched out too long. But all in all, just the great characterizations that he brought to life in this film was just really fun and made the film entertaining. If you haven't seen Octopussy for John Gluck's directing, definitely check it out, people. It's worth the watch. So this movie has a great cast. Some, of course, returning actor portraying the great James Bond, of course, in this film, and then we have a couple of new people that were great additions to this film. Now, of course, we're going to start off with, you know who, Mr. James Bond himself, Mr. Roger Moore! Oh yeah, Roger Moore! Woo! Roger Moore! So, of course, Roger Moore, you might have heard me talk about his performance in Boat Trip. You might have heard me talk about his Cannonball Run performance. You might have heard about his voiceover work, all that kind of great stuff. This guy was an amazing actor, and he actually had a lot of actual acting credits prior to becoming James Bond, actually. And he actually had several uncredited performances in films in the 50s and 60s as well, which I thought was kind of interesting that he didn't get, a credit or anything for his performance in the film. I don't know if it's because the role wasn't super huge or if it wasn't, significant enough, but still, I thought that was interesting that he had a lot of films that he was in where he did not get credit for being a part of the film. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, of course, Roger Moore, like I said, he's one of the best James Bonds. I've always enjoyed him as James Bond. I really enjoy him as James Bond, and I just think that he's a really great James Bond. Now, another film that he was in that I haven't had the pleasure of checking out, but I've heard a lot of good things about this film, and it has a great cast. And it's a British film that came out in the 50s, and that, of course, is a film called Shout at the Devil. Oh, yeah. Shout at the Devil. Yeah. So Shout at the Devil is a wartime film during World War II. World War One. And basically the movie's about revenge. And Roger Moore's character is kind of like this person that's kind of entangled in it and gets involved in it and has to deal with it. And basically the story is about this revenge being taken on these people that were a part of basically killing this other person's family and kind of the consequences and everything that went along. It looks like a really great film. Like I said, I haven't had the chance to see it, but just from the trailer itself, the Roger Moore's performance looks really awesome. Looks very different than his James Bond performance. It looks like a very dramatic element, kind of mystery film with a lot of drama involved with it that just looks really intense and just looks like Roger did an amazing job with the performance and giving us this really interesting take on this character. Just looks really well done. Definitely something I'll check out in the future. Definitely something, especially since I love Roger Moore as an actor. Can't wait to watch this one. But definitely, if you haven't seen it, definitely check out Shout at the Devil. I've heard lots of good things about it. But all in all, once again, Roger Moore, like I said, I always say, I can't say anything bad about his characterization. I absolutely love it. I think it's perfection to the T as James Bond. And he did the same thing in this one. He evolved. He gave us a great performance. Even though, he had some extended scenes in this film that seemed a little too long, I still thought he did a great job of giving us that great performance. And I just enjoyed his action and his acting scenes and his just kicking butt and everything. And I love his performance along with the James Bond girl in this film, Miss Octopussy herself. And I just thought he did a good job, and I love the dynamic that he brought to this film. He just did a really great job. If you haven't seen Roger Moore or anything, definitely check him out in other films, and also check him out in Octopussy. It's definitely worthy of a watch for a James Bond film. So the next actor I'll be talking about, or actress to say, is the James Bond girl in this film. And that, of course, happens to be the actress known as Maud Adams! Oh yeah! Maud Adams! Woo! Maud Adams! Woo! So Maud Adams, she's a well-known actress. She's been in several films over the years. Not a lot of credits, though. She's been in things over the years, and she's done things, after this film. But she just is a really fun actress, and I've enjoyed pretty much anything I've ever seen her in. Now, she actually was in another James Bond film, which I'm going to talk about here in a moment, where she plays a different James Bond girl. So this is not her first time portraying a Bond girl, so I think that's kind of interesting. Now, with her performance in the film, I really enjoyed her as the James Bond girl. Not as good as some other previous Bond girls, but I did enjoy her characterization. I did enjoy the, realness and kind of the character she brought to the character. And I just thought that she did really good interactions with Roger Moore and anyone she was interacting with that brought some real fun and entertainment to this character and to this film. Now, the film that I was talking about earlier that I've actually seen her in, something else I've seen her in, is actually another James Bond film that came out in the, in the earlier 70s. And that, of course, is a film called The Man with the Golden Gun. Oh, yeah, Man with Golden Gun. This was a fun film, too. And she was so much younger in it, so I did not realize that this was the same gal until I was researching it. But she was really good in A Man with a Golden Gun. I really enjoyed her, so I thought that the contrasting characters between that Bond girl and the Bond girl in Octopussy was so different, and you could not tell that was the same woman. She did a phenomenal job of portraying these two different characters. I really enjoyed her in Man with a Golden Gun. I thought she did a really good job. I thought she did a fun job, and I just thought that she gave a really great, Bond girl performance. Whereas in Octopussy, I thought it was a tad bit better. I definitely enjoyed her a little bit more in Octopussy. I like that she was a lot more firmer. I like that she was more, I'm in charge type of feel. And I just liked her interactions and how she ran her group of these women that she had working for her, basically, in her giant empire. And I just really enjoyed how she had that great command of that, and that she was very much commander-in-chief. Really thought that was a really fantastic job done by Maude. That she did a really good job. If you haven't seen Maude Adams anything, definitely check it out. She's really fun. She's a really great actress, and she was very enjoyable in this film as Octopussy. So that brings me to the final actor I'll be talking about that was in this film. And that, of course, is the main villain himself in this film, Mr. Louis Jordan! Oh yeah, Louis Jordan, woo! Now, you might recognize Louis Jordan from a slew of films over the years. I mean, this guy was prolific. I mean, he had so many acting credits. He was just an amazing actor and always played really good villains. And I've only heard of him playing a couple good guys a couple times, but he always usually played the villain, and he was so good at it, which made him such a great prolific actor at the same time. Because he could do comedy, he could do action, he could do drama, he could do, mystery, thriller. He was really good at all those types of films. Now, one film I really enjoyed him, and I thought he was the best villain he ever was, is in a great 1982 film starring Adrienne Barbeau called Swamp Thing. Yeah, Swamp Thing. This movie is such a freaking amazing film. Absolutely love it. And Louis Jordan as the main villain in this film was so awesome. I loved his characterization of the character. I loved the presence he gave the character. I like how he was so kind of very sophisticated, but at the same time, you could see the wheels turning in his head to how evil he really was. But at the same time, he was very, proper about it and very, sincere. And you just enjoyed that calm presence he brought that made him such a really fantastic villain. And some of his action sequences in films were really well done. I thought he kicked some butt. And I just thought that he brought a really great presence to that character and gave us a really fantastic villain. If you haven't seen Swamp Thing from '82, definitely check it out. It's an amazing film, really well done, and Louis was amazing in it. Now, when it comes to his performance as a villain in this James Bond film, Octopussy, I enjoyed him. I thought he did a good job. I saw that same acting that I saw in Swamp Thing in this film. I thought that he did a good job of, kind of being the supposed, backhand to Octopussy, but really was trying to control the things in the background. I really enjoyed that aspect of the character and how he really brought it to life and how he really was the main bad guy in the film. And that he really did a good job of being very evil and very sophisticated and being very tricky too as well. And I just thought that he did a really amazing job. If you haven't seen Louis Jordan in anything, definitely check him out in Octopussy. He was really fantastic. And also Swamp Thing was a really good film too as well. So what is Octopussy about? Basically, this time around, James Bond's got to save the world again from a nuclear threat over in West Germany. And this time around, he ends up coming in contact with this big prolific jewelry dealer that ends up being a part of the whole thing, and basically he has to kind of save her at the same time while working with her, while saving the world from this nuclear threat, or this part of the world from nuclear threat, and basically save the day. It just was a entertaining film, very fun. Not the best James Bond film I've seen. Definitely I've seen better previous films. I thought Moonraker was better. I thought For Your Eyes Only was better, etc., etc. But definitely Octopussy is a very entertaining film, very fun to watch. Still a little too lengthy. They should have definitely cut out or trimmed things down to make it a little bit more cohesive. But at the same time, I still think it's a very A-plus film. I definitely give this one 7 Golden Movie Boxes up out of all the films. Out of this film, and it's definitely entertaining and worth the watch. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it a whirl. Another one that you can watch for free on Tubi. That's right, Tubi. Download the app and get it to watch for free. It's really worth it, and it was definitely worth the watch. So if you haven't seen it, definitely give it a whirl, people. It's a fun film. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been here before, don't forget to check out any older new videos you might not have seen mine yet. And as always, people, if you want to show support for my channel, definitely check out my links down below, either for the Horror Pack, which is a great subscription service where you can get great horror films right to your door every month of a mystery nature for a great low price, or you can check out my awesome Patreon page where I do bloopers, outtakes, and all that kind of cool stuff, and I post pretty randomly on it, but still, it's an enjoyable site and really fun, and lots of great stuff that helps coincide with my awesomeness on my YouTube channel. So definitely check that out and support that too if you want to show support for the channel. As always, people, catch you in the next one.